Hello, and welcome back to Underdog Investing. Today I'd like to talk about Proterra, which is the ticker symbol ACTC. Now, I would like to talk about the investor presentation. So there was about 53 slides in this investor presentation, but I've just taken out 10 of them, and I thought these were the most important ones. So I'll just go through them with you, then talk about the stock price, and then finally what I'm planning to do. Now, before I jump into the video, I'll be very grateful if you can smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for future updates. So starting with the first slide, so we can see their mission is to advance electric vehicle technology to deliver the world's best performing commercial vehicles. So that's a very strong mission statement, and it's not unlike Tesla's one. So Tesla's mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. And the key point here is the fact that Proterra are targeting commercial vehicles, whereas a company like Tesla, they targeted passenger vehicles. So I think that's very important because when we're talking about Proterra, it's less of a competition if they're going for different sectors within the EV industry. And I think Proterra are doing the right thing by targeting this particular niche because I think Tesla's going to take a little while before they go into the commercial vehicle market because they're so aggressive with the passenger vehicles. And during that time, I think Proterra is going to have a very good chance of gaining market share and becoming a dominant player in the commercial electric vehicle market. And so this slide just shows you the structure of Proterra. So under the Proterra brand, they've got a few different companies. So the way I like to see it is a bit like a pyramid. And at the top, you've got Proterra Powered, which basically produce powertrains for companies which create vehicles but want to use Proterra technology. And then below that, you've got Proterra Transit, which actually sells the whole commercial electric vehicle, like buses, for example, to companies who just don't create the vehicles and they just want to buy the buses. And then finally, at the bottom and the foundation layer, you've got Proterra Energy, which basically looks after the whole charging infrastructure, the reusing and recycling of the energy and the storing of the energy. So it's in the name, it takes care of the energy side of things. And I think with these three companies, they really cover the whole spectrum of the commercial electric vehicle market. So this slide just demonstrates how far ahead Proterra are from their competition. So you can see companies like Arrival, Nikola, Canoe, they're still just creating prototypes. Whereas if you have a look at Proterra, they've actually got proven products on the road right now as we speak. So they've got buses going to school in Virginia, going to the park in New York, touring the ski slopes in Jackson Hole, commuting in San Francisco, whilst these other companies are still on the prototype stage. And this is another slide to demonstrate how far ahead Proterra are. So Proterra is miles ahead of the competition, and I think they meant it as a pun was intended there, because if we see here, they've literally got real world miles, 16 million miles compared to other companies and competitors which have no miles. They've got a real revenue of almost $200 million in 2020. They've got a production track record of almost 10 years, and they've got manufacturing capacity and a full charging solution. So this charging solution is the Proterra Energy side of things, which I'm quite excited about. But yeah, so this slide just demonstrates how far ahead of the competition they are. And it's similar to, the way I see it is, it's a bit like Tesla compared to other companies like Ford, GM, Mercedes, BMW. That's kind of what Proterra is to these other companies. Okay, so this slide is very interesting. So it shows the total addressable market that Proterra are in, and that is a $260 billion total addressable market, and that's divided into two different things. So the first one, on the left hand side, you can see is $225 billion commercial vehicle market, and that's global, and this is the estimated figure for 2023. And then you've got on the right hand side the Proterra Energy, which is the charging solutions, storing of energy and reusing and recycling of batteries. And that is a $37 billion market. and this is the estimated market for 2030. So if we add these two together, that gives us a figure of roughly around $260 billion that Proterra have in terms of addressable market. And as we know already, based on this particular table, Proterra are poised to be the dominant player in this particular market. And then just to demonstrate that further, Proterra Transit are actually North America's #1 electric transit bus OEM, and they've got over 50% market share. That's very significant, over 50% market share in a potentially $260 billion addressable market. And this is just one of their buses, so the ZX5. I think the Z stands for zero emissions and the 5 stands for 5th generation. Okay, so this slide is very important, so this particular graph. As I mentioned already, they've got 50% market share in the North American bus market, and this slide demonstrates how the North American bus market is going to grow at an annual rate of 50%, a compound annual growth rate of 50% in a market in which Proterra have 50% plus market share in. So that's extremely significant. And just to demonstrate how much demand they have, you can see here on the bottom right, they've got 450 plus vehicles in backlog. And if we remember, we've got companies like Nikola, Hyliion and Canoe. They're all still on the prototype stage, whereas Proterra is literally has a supply issue. They've got so much demand that they've got a 450 plus vehicle backlog. That just shows how far ahead of the competition they are. I really don't see how the other companies are going to catch up to this. Okay, and this slide just demonstrates the Proterra Energy, and I just wanted to go through this middle section actually. So I'm really excited about the Proterra Energy business. The reason is because of how helpful they are going to be to companies. I mean, if I was a company looking for a energy solution, I think I will go to Proterra Energy. And the reason is because if we have a look here, they literally just hold your hand throughout the whole process. They go from planning of the solution to actually sourcing the energy, storing the energy, actual charging infrastructure, energy management, and even reusing and recycling the energy. So yeah, if I was the company, I think I would definitely go for Proterra, and I'm very excited about this particular business in the future. And as you can see from this slide, the other companies aren't in this particular sector, so they're going to take a significant market share of that. And then just to show you the compound annual growth rate for their revenue, it's actually at 68%, which is a massive compound annual growth rate. And they've actually got real numbers to prove it, their actual demand. They've got a $750 million backlog of orders. And I mean, if you, like I said previously, other companies still on prototype stage, but and then you've got Proterra here with almost $1 billion of orders and backlog. There's not really much else to say about that. So just to summarize, Proterra are an integrated technology system with Proterra powered transit and energy. They've got proven real-world validation with 16 million real-world service miles, 1,000 plus vehicles, 50+% market share. They've got significant addressable market of $260 billion. They've got strategic partnerships with companies like Daimler, and they've got real revenue, rapid growth, and clear visibility with almost $200 million in revenue in 2020, a compound annual growth rate of 68%. They've got $750 million of orders and backlog to show that they are real, and they're proving that their business actually exists. 25% gross margin, which is quite decent in terms of the EV market. Yeah, so I think they're going to be quite dominant in terms of the commercial vehicle market. And just looking at the share price here. So ACTC is the SPAC, which is going to merge with Proterra, and this is likely to happen in the first half of 2021. And when it does happen, the ACTC ticker symbol will change to PTRA. And if we have a look here, the price has been quite stagnant over the past month or so. And I actually hold a position in ACTC, and the reason is because so I'm quite into the whole EV market, and I believe in the future of EVs. I've mainly got Tesla in terms of EV play, but I've got some ACTC, and the reason is because I believe that Proterra are going to dominate the commercial electric vehicle market, because like I said in the start of the video, I think Tesla are focusing so much on the passenger vehicle market that it's going to be a few years before they actually tap into the commercial vehicle market. And by that time, I think Proterra are going to gain significant market share and be a dominant player, and it's going to be quite hard to compete with them. Yeah, so that's what I believe in. That's the end of the video. I would be grateful if you can smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below, and if you found it useful in any way, please do share this video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.